All right. Hey, we got a W. You know, I'm very proud of our guys, very proud of our staff coming off a loss the way we lost, and not finishing out a ball game. Very proud of our guys coming out and finishing the game, and being able to score in the fourth quarter and put that thing away twice, and defense really stepped up, offense being able to score. I believe both those touchdowns were in the fourth quarter, right? And that was awesome. If you go back in the first half, we hurt ourselves a little bit on offense with the holding penalty, snap over the head. I believe there was something else that happened too, and that kept us from getting points on the board in the first half. Obviously, we got to get that corrected. We got to make sure that we don't leave points out there on the field. We got to make sure we go get that. But I thought defense played a really good game overall. South Alabama's got really good wide receivers that they've been taking deep shots to all year. The quarterback has been really good at hitting those deep shots. And, I thought our guys did a good job of stopping that, not giving up the explosive play like we did last week. I know we did get some pass interference calls, which we got to clean up that technique. But again, we were on them. We weren't making mental bust, and we were able to limit their explosives. So overall, I think a really good team game. Love to walk out with a W, and just excited to move on to the next week.
Hey, can they tilt your camera shot up just a little bit? It's kind of cutting your head off. There you go.
Well, it might cause a glare.
Nah, looks good. So, Coach, what do you feel like the big difference was in this week and last week? You're in the fourth quarter. You're down 7 this week. Last week, you're in the fourth quarter down by 7 after halftime. What do you feel the difference was there in the fourth?
We kept the gas on. I felt like we put our defense in a bad situation last week, and they ran out of gas and wasn't able to finish it off. We wasn't getting any offensive production last week, and that put our defense in the hole. And I think that was the difference. Again, 24 points. I do feel like when we go back and watch this film, it should have probably been more 31, 38, but it wasn't because we shot ourselves in the foot. But I do think our offense did a good job of making sure that our defense didn't stay on the field so long. And also, too, our defense did a good job of not giving up a long drive. I haven't looked at it yet, but I know they were really good about getting them off the field also.
One of the keys to the game you're talking about, all week and they posted on Twitter was to, make their run game not as impactful as it has been in years past or in weeks past, holding under 64 yards. What did the defense do so well, especially that defensive line to stop them on the run?
Well, I think what we do, we got guys that are really quick up front. They're able to get penetration. They're able to get into the backfield. They don't really get pushed off the ball because we move them so much. And we just got some quick twitch guys that are able to do that. And our linebackers are really good at fitting. Our outside linebackers do a really good job of playing their gaps also. So, I think that's a big part of it. And, but again, we got to walk out of this thing going, it still ain't good enough. We got to make sure that we never feel that way. And I think our guys are in a good place, and we'll keep working hard at it.
Coach, you caught some good bounces, literally. 2 fumbles on the ground that you guys recovered. You throw an interception that they fumbled back to you. And even Wesley Kennedy's touchdown kind of seemed like it came on maybe not the greatest idea to pitch it to him at that moment, but he cuts it across the field and scores. It seemed like maybe the ghosts of Irk and that 200th victory at Paulson, things were playing in your favor for some reason tonight.
Sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. And, the one thing I'll say about, we do work that stuff. I mean, we work ball security like crazy, and having it on the ground is not good, but we also work population. We work on getting our guys around the ball if it's on the ground. And I think our guys did a really good job of that. D1's coming back and stripping that ball. Those are things that we talk about all the time. Those are things that we try to work because we know that the play's still going on and we can still finish that off. But again, we got to be better with ball security. We can't put it on the ground, and we can't throw picks because there's just limited possessions, and you got to make sure you make them all count. So again, better be lucky than good. I promise you that.
Those touchdowns by Wesley Kennedy, can you kind of comment on what he brings to the team? Because I don't think a lot of people would have scored that second touchdown.
No, no question. But you know what? I'll take the ball in Wesley Kennedy's hand, and it's 1 on 11, and I'll take it because that guy is a difference maker, and he's a guy that makes plays. I believe we had 59 total plays tonight, and I'm not sure. I think he was at 13 rushes and a pass and punt returns and kickoff returns. So I know he was a big percentage of our offensive plays tonight. But he's a special guy, and I'm glad we got him, and we're going to continue to feed him.
Did you have a number in mind of how many plays you wanted Wesley to have the ball, like in the Wildcat offense and punt returns, and get him out in open space? Were you looking for a certain number of touches for him today?
As many as we can get. Sometimes the game don't play out that way because if it's a tight possession time game, and we're trying to control the clock. Because I thought, in the first half, I thought that we didn't do a good job of controlling the clock. But I do believe in the second half, and again, I got to look at the stats. I haven't looked at them yet. But I believe that we controlled the clock. And when you got limited possessions like that, you got to make each one of them count. Again, I want him to have the ball as much as he can get, but I also want J.D. King to have the ball. I also want Shy Wertz to have the ball. And we got some receivers that I love to have the ball. And, but we're going to make sure 12 gets his touches.
Two guys that stepped up tonight, Anthony Wilson and Derek Canteen there in the end zone to have the last break up the last pass. How have they grown over the past 6 games, filling the shoes of Kendall Vilder and Quaver and Brinson? How have they improved and continue to grow halfway through the year?
It's been phenomenal. Those guys, the very first game they really played, was the first game of the year, and they've really grown. What I like about them is they are workers. They put the extra in. They don't just do the required time that we have NCAA mandated. They're over here getting more film study. They're getting extra work after practice, and nobody's making them do it, and they're doing it. And that's why it's starting to show on the field. Those guys are going to end up being very special for Georgia Southern, and I'm very glad we recruited them and got them.
You seem to really take advantage of the fairly short field. When they put you, it seemed like in the first quarter and in some in the second, you were pinned back deep over and over, and it was tough to get out of there. But there, when they gave you that 50-yard line or thereabouts, you guys seemed to really play well.
Yeah, and that's always part of our plan to win is try to win the field position. When you're on a shorter field, man, you can be more in attack mode. You can make sure that you're getting down there and you're flipping the field on them, whether you get points or not. And that field position is so important for us, and it's very important for us this year. So for us to be able to, us getting the ball in the second half, we deferred on purpose. We wanted to get the ball in the second half, and I think we were able to flip the field at that point, which again led us to win the football game.
Pretty chippy game out there. Before the game, a lot of stuff happening. Halftime, there's a lot of stuff happening even during the game. Can you comment on that? And does that help you guys to keep your fire going, or what?
Yeah, I can. I'm very Coach Campbell is a guy for South Alabama that I respect an awful lot. He has been great at every school he's been at, and he does things the right way. And I know he's very disciplined. He's very disciplined with his team. So I'm not going to ever say anything bad about them. We got to be cooler with our heads. There's times where maybe we are retaliating, maybe we are the second person, but it's always about energy and not emotion. And we had a long talk after the pregame about how we needed to play this game. It continued at halftime. And then, we addressed it in the locker room again. I think our guys did a really good job of being cool-headed. I think they played with a lot of energy, a lot of passion. I do know there was a lot of talking out there, and that's something that we got to make sure that it only happens between the snap of the ball and through the whistle and then be done with it. So again, those are plenty of things we can clean up in that area.
It seemed like the team you mentioned about being flat, and we kind of beat that to death last week. This week, it seemed like in between plays, in between series, that I saw coaches and players really seeming like they were making a conscious effort to try to keep the team up on the sidelines. Was that something you guys talked about?
For sure. We wanted more energy. We always talk about 4 phases: offense, defense, special teams, but we talk about sideline. And, um, lots of times what happens is you get into a game, you get so locked in, sometimes those guys on the sideline don't feel a part of it. And we had to challenge them this week, and we had to make sure that they were in that thing. So I thought our coaches did a really good job with them. I think our strength coaches did a really good job with them of keeping them engaged, and just being a part of the game, knowing the situations, knowing when to be loud, when to be calm, and bring that energy. I thought our guys did a really good job of talking on the sideline too, about playing the next play and resetting and not living, with the last play or something that may have been a bad play. So again, I think we did. I do think we brought energy today, and we got to make sure we were able to do that every week.
Did this game pretty much go as you expected? This team seems to have a knack for playing tight games in conference. Did it seem to kind of add up exactly kind of how you expected, where it was going to come down to making plays in the fourth quarter? And when you had to get some first downs, you gave the ball to J.D. King. And I mean, it seemed like the play calling kind of fit exactly what you guys do best.
Yeah. So, going into this game, I wasn't really sure how good South Alabama was, but I did know that they should have been 4-1. I don't think they should have lost that Tulane game. And I really honestly felt like they were a lot better than they were last year, because they were playing a lot more discipline. They were playing a lot more tough. They were playing a lot more physical. And I also knew that they got good coaches, and they were going to have a good game plan against us. Now, if you go back and look at the game, I mean, there's going to be times where we sit there and say, man, we shot ourselves in the foot, and we should have got more points in the first half, and we didn't. So, those are the things that, I can't really, make my mind up on, because like lots of what is going on this year is I just see us sometimes hurting ourselves. And we got to make sure we don't do that, man. We got to be very efficient. We got to make sure that we're not beating ourselves. And, and I think, again, that's something we got to continue to clean up every week.
You want to comment on the game that Justin Ellis had? I know we talked to him a few minutes ago, talking about where he's been and what he did tonight.
I tell you, I'm very proud of Justin Ellis, because, that guy was going to be a good player for us last year towards ACL in the LSU game, and we lost him. And, some of these guys that have injuries, when COVID hit, that's not good, man, because, now you don't have the opportunity to have them, rehab them, get them going. What I'll say about Justin Ellis, when he came back, you could tell that he had put the work in. Now, I do think it's took him a little bit of time to get confidence in that knee, and that really showed tonight. So again, when you lose Trevor Valim at the beginning of the year, and now you see a Justin Ellis step up, that's a perfect example of a next man up. All right, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. GATA.
Thank you. Thank you.